Hey guys, hope you're having an awesome weekend, which is when I'm recording this. Someone requested that I post my time lapses of my mockups in Procreate. So I'm going to share you, I think, about 6 or 7 of these. And so what you're seeing me doing is the time lapse on Procreate where I'm figuring out my values and my colors that I'm going to use for various compositions. I don't always do this before I paint. I probably do it in 40% of the cases at the moment. And it gives me a chance to figure out what I'm trying to say and how I'm saying it. So for instance, like here, this would be a major changes, right? The sky was not pink, but I wanted to, this is a photograph, so I don't really know what the colors look like. I wasn't there. I took this photo myself, but I didn't do this Procreate mockup in person. So I'm thinking, let me just push these colors. I really wanted to bring greens and cool colors into the whites in the building and then contrast those against pinks in the background because that's how I would paint a lot of things in my kitchen. I'm trying to push the very cool blues and greens of whites and then, usually pushing a warmer shadow. And then, like the pattern here of the overhang, the stripes. So thinking about them getting less noticeable as they go to the left and thinner to show distance. The placement of the garbage can for the focal point because it's a very strong contrast and a bit of fun and the darkest value. Adding little items into the window. I went to Pinterest and just Googled like mustard and ketchup and then started sketching them into the window. Especially in this case where, again, I wasn't there in person. I don't have that reference. It was really important to me to figure that out in Procreate first. And actually, you saw a little photo flash up there. That was another artist take on a shop front, and I really just thought they did a great interpretation of that. So I put it up there for myself for a little bit to say, what was it I liked how this artist tackled a shop front? I think it was like a candy shop or something. This one here, usually I always start with a photograph. This was just me doing a sketch of my kitchen, so I'm just sitting down doing like a really rough sketch. Just trying to figure out, do I like this angle and what am I trying to say? Definitely the steaming pot, the lid. What's fun in this version is like I can really push things to more of like an animated feel. I never capture that as much as I want or maybe at all in my paintings. I like the idea of almost like a Disney style feeling of a bubbling pot. So that's what I was trying to capture in the sketch. So here we're seeing my library, of which is also a confessional as to how many fantasy romance books I read. And I have never painted this library. I have wanted to paint it many times, but it's the composition that is always throwing me because, like, what is the focal point? What is the high contrast? What is the groupings of darks and lights? And so I just took a while here to try to kind of create a focal point. So you see like this rose that I'm putting here. This is me saying, could I have like a rose kind of growing out? That would be the focal point of this. And that's just a rose. I have painted roses before, so that's just me from my head thinking, do I like that? Does that work? Then I considered adding a book bag from my local bookshop, Bridge Street Books. And then now I'm moving into a no-tan study. What does this actually just look like with 3 values, dark, mid-value, gray, and light? And I will do a separate tutorial all about no-tan studies. But essentially the main concept here is you want to group values. Group your darks, group your mid values, group your light values, and then have an uneven distribution of those. So by that, I mean I'm looking here for, say, 60% of this painting to be in the dark value range, 30% to be in the gray and the rest in white, right? Or maybe like 5% in white and the rest in between gray and black, but never divided evenly between the groups. Okay, so here we have if you're in Ireland, you have a very quick guess. I'm sure you'll get this right away where this is. This is the English market in Cork, of course. And I have painted here once actually in person, but it was shockingly terrible, so I won't admit to that. So this time I was passing through over Christmas and they were kind of cleaning out at the Christmas Eve. And I grabbed a photograph. Again, I was not there in person when I did this mock-up, which would be ideal. But I thought if I was going to paint this, and I haven't painted it yet, what would this look like, right? So you see me trying to say really downplay the things that are in the distance, like desaturating them and lowering the contrast, and then adding in details in the front. All right, this is my sister's apartment in Halifax, and she just moved into it, a little renovated loft. So again, kind of trying to tell a story. Some woman planning her plant shop on her laptop is my idea. My sister has lots of plants that are all over the apartment, so I'm kind of grabbing some of those and moving them into view. So I rarely paint exactly what is in front of me. I need to be telling a story. She has a cup of tea. I'm thinking here, maybe there's a notebook in front of her. I don't have a reference for this. This is just to get an idea out. An eyeglass. I did pull up a picture of Pinterest of that eyeglass, like as in the eyeglasses on the table, and put them in to say that she was reading. And then I just added a photo I took of my sister's cat and shoved it in the chair there. Okay, this one you probably have seen in my Apple demo. This one I am doing with the composition right in front of me. So my iPad is sitting on my easel. And, how I reduce, like, I'm not selling any of these Procreate things, right? They're very much just like, I'm not a Procreate expert. Just how would I reduce this if I was painting? Oh, I would group the napkin like this. I would group the dark side of the apple like that. I'm using a big brush in Procreate and so on. This is from a photograph of me in the studio that I took because I wanted to have this composition of a woman sitting and looking at the window. But again, because I painted this from life, but I wasn't 100% sure on the composition, so that's why I'm doing that. This popcorn one, I had never painted popcorn or my popcorn machine before, so I was thinking I really have to figure out like how am I going to reduce this, and you can see that I am trying to treat the popcorn as like not individual objects, but as a sphere or as like almost like a snake on the ground, like a cylinder, like a twisted cylinder of popcorn on the ground rather than individual. This is my wardrobe. It was open and I really just liked the look of this one day. So I snapped a photo and I said, I'm going to work on this evening, glass of wine, watch a TV show. I think I was watching The Crown and just figure out if there's anything with this that I can actually, I'm trying to say. And I did go on to paint that one. This one is a no-tan study of my tractor. This is actually up my lane, so I just took a picture of this tractor that was there, and I'm just thinking, how can I make this a nicer composition of the tractor? And again, I never went ahead to paint that. Sometimes I just like to put the compositions together. I didn't really feel like I didn't feel like it was strong enough. So plein air is obviously not quite my thing, but it was a good exercise to go through this. Okay, so that's it. Just wanted to share, some of my processes for composition. And as always, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll be on to part 3 of the fridge soon. Bye, guys.